Hello, welcome to Dan Talks United. So, West Ham won, Manchester United won. What do we all think about that result? That winning run comes to an end under Carrick. Not quite wheels falling off on the bus, but bit disappointing today. Bit disappointing performance from the boys today. Was expecting a win. Obviously, I had a bold prediction today. 3-1 is what I was going for. There was nowhere near getting 3 goals today. Just a really poor performance overall. And before we get going, I'm just really hoping this result's got nothing to do with this. United Strand. There's been a bit of focus around this week. And like I said, I just hope that there is nothing. I hope it just wasn't in the players' minds today, because all I wanted was for this fella that's on the screen to get his hair cut so that he can move on, we can move on as a club, and we can start playing football without this cloud over us. And what do you know? Because it has to be 5 wins in a row, it means now with this fella, he starts again from 0. So it's another 5 games you've got to go through, and hopefully you get a win streak before you get rid of this fella. Now, no disrespect to him, he's doing well in terms of for charity. He's come up with an idea. Don't want to come across like it's sour grapes. He's come across with a good idea. All this stuff about not cutting his hair until Manchester United win 5 games in a row. Very clever that he's gone with 5 games, because I've said it before on other streams that it's not impossible, although you might think it is after today's game, but it's not impossible to win 5 games in a row. But it's also quite a difficult thing to achieve, and I think most teams find it quite difficult to achieve. So it's quite clever. It means that his hair grows, it means that he keeps being in the spotlight. But anyway, I'll move on, because I think this guy's had too much coverage so far. But yes, very disappointing, to the point where it has felt a little bit like a loss today. Obviously, you won the 4 wins in a row, Carrick at the wheel, all that sort of stuff, and you're just thinking, it's West Ham. They're quite far down in the league. We've got every chance that we're going to beat them today, because we've got the better side, we've got the better players, we're on a winning run. But again, they're on a winning run as well. They've had a good record recently, but more importantly, they've got a good record against us at the London Stadium. I think we haven't done anything, we haven't beat them since, is it 2021 or something like that? So you're looking at 5 years or something along those lines. And obviously when we'll come on to goal scorers and stuff, but when that first goal goes in, and we're always saying when you're watching this game that it's all about who can score first, and you wanted it to be us so that we can kick on, but it just really poor. But anyway, let's get into it. So Souček gets the first goal of the game, 49 minutes. So just a little bit after the break, the half-time break there. First half, I mean, we'll come on to the analysis of the first half, but that was just piss poor. And then Sesko, right at the death, scores a really nice finish to make it 1-1, and it's on as even. So getting into the first half analysis then. So for the start of the game was very slow. There was a bit of a measured build-up from Manchester United at first. And I think they were sort of feeling each other out, West Ham and Manchester United tonight. I think they were both respecting the fact that they've got good records coming into this game, and what I mean by that is a winning run of sorts. So obviously West Ham will be thinking, right, under Carrick, maybe a few weeks ago under Amrim we could beat you, but under Carrick with 4 wins in a row, trying to get 5 wins in a row and playing pretty well. And like I say, taking scalps, taking City, beat Arsenal. Tough test against Fulham, and we came through that. Another tough test, then it ends up being a 10-man Spurs. And each game seems to be a tough test. Each game that you come across is a tough test, but it's a tough league, Premier League. And unfortunately, at the home of the Bubbles, our bubbles burst, unfortunately. It had to happen because there's no way that was going to win every single game to the end of the season. There's no way that was going to happen. I suppose we're lucky that it's ended up as a draw, but you just didn't want that winning run to end now. It feels really soon. But at the same time, though, for fans such as me that's been really giddy recently, it kind of puts me back in my box. It kind of slows me down a little bit. I've had jokes about Carrick signing now and stuff like that and getting giddy and Carrick's at the wheel. But it's good to sort of get a leveler, mind the pun, get a leveler in terms of mindset. And again, for those people that have been negative throughout this period or sort of waiting for a result like this, I suppose it makes those people happy. But for me, you've got to ride the wave while it's there. We've been in the doldrums for such a long time. You've got to ride the wave. But anyway, for people that are coming in, please put your comments in. Let's have a chat. Tell me what you think about the game tonight. Was you expecting a win like I was? Was you expecting a loss? Was you expecting a draw? A bit of a blip in the road? So, like I say, Carrick's at the wheel. Was he expecting a pothole? I don't know. I was expecting us to... Didn't think we were going to get a clean sheet, which we didn't get in the end. And I did say that West Ham was going to score a goal, one goal, and they did. It's just that I got our side wrong. But yes, for people that are coming in, please put your comments in. Please tell us how you feel about this game. It's one of them. It's not going to rant about it. Not expecting loads from Carrick in the first place. So to get 4 wins in a row was a bonus. It'd have been nice to get this 5th win. It'd have been nice for that fella to cut his hair and do one. Apart from what he's doing for charity, which I can't take away from him. But just, cloud, see you later. But unfortunately, we're back here again. So, from SJG there, evening down, evening. And as you're saying there, it feels like a loss, and it definitely does. Just like I said, just really, really disappointing. Again, coming into this game, feeling that we can just keep on that mentality, that winning mentality, and just feel like the players are really flat. But just to get back into proceedings then, the early doors, I think there was a sort of cross it was a corner that West Ham had, and it was a really good punch out from Le Mans. Had a sort of solid sort of performance where he was needed, he was there, and that's the main thing. One thing that I was a little bit unhappy with, though, is I said before the game in the preview, the danger men are Bowen and Somerville. Now, I don't particularly think that Bowen did loads, but he was active, he was engaging, he was coming at our defence, but I think we held him up pretty well in the main. But Somerville, where they let him cut in, I think this is what this guy does. You're letting this guy cut inside. Why are you letting him cut inside? You should know what he does. And I say, it's just like Morgan Rogers at Villa. They're always wanting to just cut inside and shoot and go for the wonder strike. And to be fair, maybe you might say I'm being harsh, and just, again, let me know what you think if you disagree with what I'm saying, but maybe I'm being harsh there because overall he hasn't really affected the game per se. But again, it's one of those where I've said it before about our own players, like Ahmad, for example. If he might not get an assist or a goal, but it's about whether he's engaging his defender, whether he's putting his defender under pressure, whether he's creating space for his players, for his teammates. And I think you could probably say that's what Somerville's doing throughout the game. Hasn't particularly left his mark on the game, as like I say, with a goal or an assist, but it's about the other stuff that some of these tricky players can do. But like I say, you can't stop everything, so I appreciate that. But I just think it was early in the game. It was around 12 minutes in the game. He's cut inside too easily for me, and he gets a shot off. And if it goes a couple of inches to the right, I'm not sure Le Mans is saving that. So it was comfortable, safe for him, but I'm not sure he's saving if it's a couple of inches more to the right or a couple of inches a bit higher. So it just felt like between that period and up to about 16, 17 minutes, 18 minutes maybe, it was just really poor from Manchester United. Like I say, they did try to do a bit of a measured build-up at first and feeling each other out, and I suppose West Ham played a part in that. One thing about West Ham, they were definitely much better defensively today, unless it were just against us, but they were squeezing the middle, so there was no real routes through the middle. You could see Martinez was sort of looking up all the time, trying to play that ball through the lines as he does. But there's just no movement. There's no movement from the forward players. No sort of movement from Cunha. Not enough movement from Mbeumo at times. Not enough movement from Ahmad. And you want them to sort of interchange and sort of fool the West Ham defence a little bit. But there's just not enough movement. And Martinez is really good at those killer balls between the lines, but he just couldn't really do it because there was just no movement. And I think Bruno as well, that you'd expect a bit of creativity, a bit of sort of help with Martinez with the through balls and playing the balls between the lines. He was quite absent in a sense, really. Not a good game from Bruno overall, especially in that first half. So then there was a point where sort of Shaw plays Ahmad down the left, but then his shot goes near post. So it's like, again, he switched sides from the right, gets the ball in behind from Shaw, which you could probably say that the ball was a little bit overplayed. But even so, again, I always say forward players, when you're getting played down the sides, you've got to do that Henry, and it's like the test of time with that sort of Henry move where you've got to hit the ball across the keeper. You've got all of that net. Why choose the near post? You've got all of that net on the other side. You just hit the ball true and go across the keeper. Make the keeper make a save. Make the keeper work. And at worst, the keeper parries it out and maybe you can get a tap in. But instead you're going near post and it's just curling away. It's just really frustrating. So, like I say, that first half was just overall just really poor. But yes, people that are in, if you're still in, please put your comments in. Let's have a chat. Please tell me how you feel about the game. Don't be shy. Put your chats in. Doesn't cost anything. Put your chats in. Tell me how you're feeling about the game. Bubbles burst, unfortunately. How are we feeling about it? Again, we were expecting this, people. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting just to keep on this winning run, this winning trail, but it's ended pretty quickly. But like I say, it just felt very nervous at first. And again, it just felt, even like the commentators were saying, it was like each team was worried about making a mistake. Both teams are like worried about giving up a goal. And it just one of those games that needed a goal. It needed a goal in the first half, really, but needed a goal so that whichever team conceded could then come out to play. And in the end, it so happened that West Ham got the first goal and then we had to try and play. So, second half then, no changes at the second half, no substitutions second half as they came back out. But a few minutes later, after the 45, after half-time, should I say, ball gets played over the top. I think it must have been from their keeper. Shaw's tussling a bit with Souček, but the ball's bounced, and it's one of those where, and I say this all the time, again, not an elite footballer, never played at anywhere near that level, never even anywhere near semi-pro level. But one thing I do know is, generally speaking, you don't let the ball bounce. And I've played in defence, and you've got to engage that. You've got to attack that. You've got to be aggressive in that situation. And obviously, lets the ball bounce. He's tussling a little bit. Obviously, you can say it's not just an individual mistake. There is a team side to this. And obviously, I'd have to watch it back, but it looks like Nuno's probably lost a man. And then Bowen's got in and sets up Souček, who puts it through Lemons's legs. Nothing Lemons can do about that. It's pretty much close range as well. So just really poor defending there, and just nervy defending. And obviously you've got Maguire that's impacted, because I don't know if he's done his hamstring, but it looked like he got injured towards the end of that first half. And then, as that goal goes in from West Ham, then you want to come out and play, lads. Now you want to up the tempo a little bit, and we're probing. Obviously, it's coming to no avail. There's a lot of crosses going into the box here and there, but again, even those crosses were either overhit or underhit, and you haven't got a target man there yet until Sesko enters the pitch. So just really willing the team to up the tempo more and carve out some chances. But this is the thing. This is the test. This is the test. Another test. You're coming up against a team, especially when they've scored first as well. They've got no real reason, unless they're going to hit you on the break, which they were doing, to really go for the second. They just wanted to shut up shop. They've got the first goal. They were looking very good defensively. Bone was putting in a shift, tracking back, and playing almost like a right back. So they were defending really well as a team. Like I say, they cut off all the passing lanes through the middle pretty much. So that meant that we should be going down the sides. But again, if you're going down the sides and you want to cross it in and you've got no target man, this is what happens. But again, anybody that's in, don't be shy. Put some comments in. Let's have a chat. So, like I say, the tempo did get lifted, and that's fair enough. But again, it was just laboured at times. I think in the final third, we were really struggling tonight, and I think it doesn't matter which coach comes in, they've all sort of struggled to get the pattern of play into this team to be able to break down a low block or a mid block, and that's been our issue. So it was always going to sort of take some time until something out of nothing happens, basically. So just before that, though, I think it was Mano that did a bit of a deep cross into the box, and Casemiro, being Casemiro, really good in the air, beats his man, heads the ball into the net, but unfortunately, it was marginally offside, just like, you know, a hair's breadth sort of thing offside. And unfortunately, I think he knew himself, to be fair, because you could see from his reaction that he was offside. So such a shame that he didn't score at that point, because that was about 62 minutes gone at that point. And I think I believe if we score then, I strongly believe that we then will go into the lead and win the game. So it's just one of those where we needed to score much earlier. And then fast track, Sesko enters the pitch. Maguire has to go off. I think he might, like I say, I think he might have been injured. Yoro comes on, because otherwise, if he's not injured, it's a bit of a strange substitution. But Yoro, to be fair, I think he did pretty well when he came on. A couple of last-ditch tackles in the box where he's pretty much got two men to contend with, and he's just left it really late to move to the spare man, and he's ended up, you know, getting the tackle in. So to be fair to Yoro, considering what time he's come onto the pitch, considering that he hasn't been playing, considering when he has been playing before that, he's been playing in a different system, did really well. Because once Maguire went off, I was really worried, because I was thinking, ball's coming into the box, there's no Maguire there to head out. And also, to be fair, having a chance on the other side, in their half, in their box, Maguire's also quite dangerous from a set piece. So for him going off, I'm quite worried there, because I'm thinking either, oh no, we could concede from a set piece or what have you, from a cross. And then also, we're lessening our chances of getting back into the game. But what I was surprised about, to be fair, is how much time was added on, because I'm not sure where that came from, but it was 7 minutes added on. Fergie time, Carrick time. But yeah, obviously we needed it, because it was 90 plus 6, was it, when Mbeumo puts in a lovely cross, and he's got that in his locker, to be fair. And I think he was sort of holding off doing it because there was nobody to cross to until Sesko came on. And what I would say is that Sesko is, you know, decent in the air, but as the ball comes in, it's a bit lower, and he sort of, I'd have to watch it back because it just seemed to happen so quickly, but he seems to sort of do a bit of a volley, and it's top of the net, top corner, and it's like, what a finish, and it's under pressure as well. He's made his presence known in the box, and that's a striker's finish, that you want to see. And obviously he has an opportunity just before that, where he swivels and turns and takes a shot, but Still haven't seen that Sesko pile driver yet, because he's got power in his shot. It's almost like he's lost his power since coming to Manchester United. It's very strange. But a lovely, lovely goal to draw things level and get honours even and level things up. So, yeah, as SJG saying there, beautiful goal. Come on, let's not just have one person making comments. If there's other people in here, please make some comments. It's going to be a short one, though, because it's already 11 o'clock. It's a late game tonight, so I just wanted to do a quick sort of review of the match. And obviously, Carrick's first game where he's dropped a couple of points. So just before, we're going to leave it just towards the end to sort of do a little bit of strong performer and whatever we'd say our man of the match is, if we can do that. And then see if you guys want to also say who your strong performers are or your man of the match. I'm just going to do what I normally do and just have a quick look on FootMob though. Oh, that is United Strand again. We don't want to see him, do we? So, as you can see there, the obvious stat there, 1-1. Again, this is where I've said before in terms of stats. We've got the most possession there, but means nothing if you don't make it count. So, to there, 1.08 expected goals. We had 0.62. So, obviously, that goal from Sesko, you would probably not count that as being a goal, generally speaking, so it shows how good of a finish that was. Total shots for them was 7, total shots for us was 9. They had 2 big chances to our 1. So not much there to really cover, to be fair to you. So now we'll move on to who we feel played well in this game. So again, put your comments in, who you thought played well, who you think is the man of the match, and we'll go from there. So just to cover a couple of players who I think played pretty well, I'm going to go with Martinez. I think he played pretty well in defence there with Maguire. Really loved a bit later on where he did that turn. I think, did he do it on Bowen? I think he was absolutely going for it in our own half. I think he got a bit of a pass that he didn't want, but he knew where the player was and he didn't smart turn in the box and out. And it's just a shame his pass was a bit overhit, because who knows what that could have led to. And then Maguire, before he went off, I think he had a good game today. I think he was marshalling that back line very well. Again, strong in the tackle, strong in the air, as always, marshalling and being stronger than the opposition. I think so far, pretty much every forward player he's come up against in this season is being able to muscle them off the ball. And that's what you want to see. Definitely what you want to see. Obviously, it can get done for pace, and we've seen that a couple of times already. But he's not going to get any quicker. He's not going to get any quicker, Maguire. And then lastly, there might be one or two other players that you might feel have played well. And again, up to you guys if you want to put that in the chat. I would then say, obviously, it's got to be Sesko. Sesko for the goal. Sesko for the rescue. Rescues Carrick, so he's not got his first loss yet. Rescues, I suppose, our position in the table as well, so we'll come on to that. So he's definitely got to go in there as the strong performer. Not on long enough to be the man of the match for me. I mean, I know a lot of times that strikers who score get a man of the match no matter what, but I just don't think he was on the pitch long enough for me. So, man of the match, I'll give you a second or two if anybody wants to put in their man of the match. Be interested to see what your thoughts are, because man of the match is always, especially in a game like this where I'm going to say where we've lost then, because it feels like a loss, where we've drawn. It's not always as easy to sort of identify who you would say man of the match, and everybody's got their own opinions as well. So give you another second or two, but come on, put in who you think your man of the match is. And then just want to quickly, though, have a look at the table whilst we're doing that. So nothing's obviously changing at the top there. Arsenal are where they are and where they've been for most of the season, to be fair. Manchester City there in second, sort of breathing down the necks a little bit. Aston Villa still cling on to third. So I've still, even though we've drawn today and we've lost some points, I've still, maybe it's not two eyes now, it's more of a one eye. Obviously, we've managed to keep fourth because Chelsea ended up drawing tonight against Leeds. And then, obviously, Liverpool are still to play as well. So then, let's come on to the man of the match then. I'm actually going to go with Le Mans. Purely because I think he pulled off a couple of good saves, did well at corners as well, punching the ball out. And I just think he did pretty well. And also playing with his feet and also keeping the ball in play. Not just kicking it out at times, actually getting it to a forward player. And he's been pretty good at that, to be fair, because he's really good on both feet. So I'm going to say, although he was offside in the end, I think it was Wilson that got played through quite late on as well. And he didn't know it was offside and he saved it with his feet. So he narrowed the angle down, 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he came out on top. So obviously you'll say that doesn't count because the player's offside, but I think it's the fact that I think both players were still playing as if to say they weren't offside, so neither knew what was going on. And I think that was a really good save as well. But ultimately, about the saves within the game, I think he did well, and he kept us in the game at times as well. So I'm going to give it to Le Mans. Could have given it to maybe even Martinez. There's an argument that you can give it to Sesko as the goal scorer who's saved us in the end from losing all 3 points. But like I say, I think Le Mans gets it for me. So just to wrap up then, obviously we stay fourth, as you can see there in the league table. Next match is Everton. And that's not until the 23rd. So there's a bit of a gap now because I think FA Cup kicks back in. And obviously we're not in that, are we? Fucking shit. So overall, though, in terms of summing things up for the game, was a poor game really overall. Nice that we get that goal at the end. Nice that we preserve something. It's nice that we haven't lost. A shame that we haven't sort of avenged and sort of got our revenge on West Ham because they've had our number, haven't they, at London Stadium anyway in particular. It was a draw as well at Old Trafford, so that's 2 1-1s with West Ham really, which it was a poor West Ham at Old Trafford really, so no real excuse there. Tonight, I'm not saying that they were fantastic, but they did defend really well. We are in the Premier League, so you've got to give them some form of credit. But unfortunately, this guy lives on with his hair. But anyway, that's enough hair time with this guy. But thanks for tuning in. It's getting late. It's after 11 now, but thanks for tuning in for those who've tuned in. Still got time to put comments in below and still respond to those. But please like, please share, please subscribe because it's really important. And I will see you in about, 2 weeks' time.